You may be seated. Thank you, choir. Ladies and gentlemen, at this stage, I would like to call the Vice-Chancellor and the Principal of the University of Pretoria, Professor Shirel Dirare, to officially welcome all of you to UP. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As the Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the University of Pretoria, it is my sincere privilege to welcome each and every one of you to this auspicious event. I'm especially pleased to welcome Your Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners, the Premier of Gauteng, Mr. David Makhura, our distinguished Speaker, Mr. Bill Gates, Mrs. Graça Machel, Chairperson of the Nelson Mandela Foundation, Professor Njabulo Ndebele, and members of the Foundation, the Chancellor of the University of Pretoria, Professor Wiseman Nkuslu, Chairperson of the University of Pretoria Council, Dr. Futhi Mtoba, and members of the UP Council, members of the Mamelodi community, all distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I wish to express our sincere appreciation to the Nelson Mandela Foundation for the opportunity for the University of Pretoria to host this annual lecture, especially since it's on the eve of our great leader's birthday, Mr. Nelson Mandela. Tomorrow, together with the rest of the world, many of our staff and students will be making an extraordinary effort through community service to demonstrate their commitment to the vision of our beloved founding president of South Africa's democracy in 1994. Ladies and gentlemen, it's often said that the most significant contribution a university makes to society is through its graduates. And indeed, I'm very pleased to share with you on this occasion that this university is making an extraordinary contribution. For example, 1 in every 10 university degree awarded in South Africa is a degree awarded by the University of Pretoria. Last year, 15% of all doctoral degrees were awarded by this university, and close to 30% of all professional engineers in South Africa have graduated from the University of Pretoria. So measured in terms of graduate output alone, I'm proud to say we're making a significant contribution to the high-level skills development for our country. But in a highly unequal society such as ours, where we continue to work to overcome a long history of systematic racial discrimination and oppression, we believe that as a public university, we have an extraordinary responsibility to fulfill in relation to our national development goals. Therefore, producing graduates is significant but not sufficient for us as a public university. We seek to exercise our broader social responsibility by integrating community engagement in our academic programs and in our research, as well as in our core operations and the way in which we conduct our everyday activities. The practical outcome of this policy is that approximately 1/3 of the University of Pretoria's 60,000 students every day undertake some form of community service. And we support over 4,000 community projects across the geographic reach of the metropolitan of Tshwane. We do this, above all, to ensure that we produce graduates who are likely to contribute to the ideal which shaped the life of our former president, Nelson Mandela. As we reflect on the theme of this year's annual lecture, Living Together, let us remind ourselves of Madiba's commitment to the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony with equal opportunities. It's an ideal to which he devoted his life, and it's an ideal to which we must continue to strive. Tonight, we're hosting this event at the University of Pretoria's Mamelodi campus. The people of Mamelodi in our local community have paid a heavy price for our liberation. And many, like Solomon Mahlangu, paid the ultimate price for our freedom, which we celebrate. Are we doing enough in our country? Are we doing enough as the University of Pretoria? I believe as much as we are doing today, we owe it to those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. We owe it to Madiba, and moreover, we owe it to future generations to do far more than we're currently doing. I urge all of us, for the sake of future generations, to do more to make sure that we realize the ideal of living together. Through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, our speaker tonight has channeled significant resources to improve the lives of the poor across the world. Indeed, here at the university, we've been the beneficiary of grants of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And through these grants, we have been able to exercise our social responsibility to our local communities through improving health outcomes and food security. As an innovator and philanthropist, I am confident that our distinguished speaker this evening will inspire us to be creative, to be innovative, to ensure that we do more to contribute to a future where we all live in peace in a world committed to sustainable development. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, and I'm sure we're going to leave inspired by the message shared with us. Welcome to the University of Pretoria, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Prof. You know, in Stakespruit, where I come from, it is only when the mother of the house has welcomed you that you feel like a welcomed guest in a particular place. And Prof, we indeed feel very welcome. Thank you. I'd now like to call on stage the chairperson of the board of the Nelson Mandela Foundation, Professor Njabulo Ndebele.
Distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Nelson Mandela Foundation, of whom Mr. Tokyo Sehwale, Dr. Mamphele Ramphele, Futhi Mtoba, Nigiwe Bigicha, and Silo Muloko are here. But I also have to pay tribute to someone who has been a member of the Board of Trustees since the inception of the foundation, and who is still connected to the foundation, but is no longer a Board of Trustees, but is always there with